Hello friends, praise the Lord. Today let us see three chapters, chapter 30, 31 and 32 from the book of Genesis. We'll just rush through it. Okay, so till now I was telling about Leah's children, Reuben, Simeon, Levi and Judah. See how the tribes of Israel were forming. The sons of Jacob were the tribes of Israel. So, in that context, we can see in chapter 30 that Rachel was so jealous that Leah was having children, so she used her maid servant to bear children for her, and like that she had sons called Dan and Naphtali, and then Leah also through the maid servant had sons like Gad and Asher, and then Leah herself had children Issachar, Zebulun, and finally a daughter Dinah. So there are so many. This is all what is given in chapter 30, the names of the children that Rachel through the maidservant and Leah had. Okay, and then finally God made Rachel to conceive, and she bore a son called Joseph. Joseph is a very important character, a character who has the similar characters of Jesus himself. So Joseph was born to Rachel, and after all this, now till this time, and after all this, Laban tells Jacob, I think you have settled, your family has grown now. I think you can leave, go to your father's house. And then Laban said, how much wage do you want? Okay, and that time Jacob says, don't give me anything. Okay, I have got two of your daughters as my wives, and so don't give me anything, but let me just go through your flocks, and I will remove all the spotted and the streaked sheep, lamb and goat. So only few are there. So I will remove only those things, and that will be mine. They will be mine, but yours will be spotless ones. So we can differentiate the possessions, the sheep and the goat, what is yours and what is mine, so that we can maintain the integrity and the honesty. So Laban thought, oh fine, I have lot, only the streaked ones were very few. So Jacob is asking for a few number only. Okay, so he had very crooked plans to cheat Jacob again, and so he was actually planning to increase his fold. But Jacob was wise enough, he knew how the act of breeding and everything, and so at one point of time they were able to see that the Jacob had so much of the spotted ones and the streaked ones, which means Jacob became very rich and rich, much to the surprise of Laban. So because God's blessings and grace was upon him, so he was able to, even though he got less, he was able to multiply it. But Laban thought of cheating him, but it was not possible. So this is what is given in chapter 30. And coming to chapter 31, we see Jacob again becoming very rich, and then he himself thinks that, okay, it's fine, now it's time that I have to take my wives, my children and my livestock and everything and go to my father's house. So but he was scared to speak to Laban. So when Laban was not there, Jacob asked his wives and everyone to gather and let's leave the place. So, and the wives also agree, and everybody they start their journey. Meanwhile, Rachel, what she did was, she just wanted to get some of the possession from her dad. So she went and took one of the idol that Laban was worshipping, and so she took it and hid it for herself, because she wanted one possession from her dad's property. And then they all started leaving and they left. So on the third day only Laban came to know that Jacob has left. And then Jacob and Laban comes and tells Jacob, he follows him, he chases him, and then tells Jacob, why did you do this? You could have at least informed me. I would have bid good farewell to my daughters and sent you away very nicely, but why did you do this to me like that? And again Laban said, and why did you take my possessions also? And that was very mean of you to do that. For which Jacob became very enraged, and he said, no, I haven't taken anything. If you want, you can go and check yourself. We have not taken anything of yours. Okay, and Rachel was very scared because she has taken that idol. And the people of Laban went and searched every other place. Finally, they came to Rachel's tent to check. But Rachel sat on the idol on the camel, and she was sitting there, and she said, I'm sorry, I'm having my menstrual periods now, so therefore please don't ask me to get up from this place. So she told a lie, and therefore the men left. So she hid that. And then Laban comes and says, "Yeah, I'm very sorry, I thought you took something." And Jacob really shouts at him, "How can you just tell me like that? You only have cheated me all the while, and I've been working for you for 20 years. I've been slogging and working under you, and the way you have treated me was very bad. But my Lord, my God, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, has always protected me and saved me. That is the why till now I am able to sustain all your cheatings and all your ill treatment. I was able to manage, and I have come up to this level." So finally they come to a compromise. "Okay, no problem, let's come to an agreement." And then they have an agreement, they have dinner, and then they stay there itself, the place where they camped. And then the next day Laban departs from Jacob, and he goes back. So this is what is given in chapter 31. Now Jacob is free completely, not from the clutches of Laban. He and his wives and his family are completely free. Now they are about to go to their the land that is his father's place. But he always had a fear. So this is what is given in chapter 32. So when he is going there, Esau is there. Esau, his brother, whom he had cheated long back. So he knew that Esau was having the grudge, and he didn't know that how much grudge he is having now. Esau also, God blessed him a lot, because he also became very rich. So Esau also was so blessed, and he was there. But Jacob was having so much of fear. So here we have to understand that, see how much of richness you get, how much of prosperity you have. The sin that you committed will always create fear in you. So Jacob was always scared of Esau. So when he was coming, what he thought was Esau might harm him. So he first sent some of his servants, okay, to in front of him to with gifts to Esau, so that he can please him before itself. But then he later came to know that Esau has started from there with 400 men. Now Jacob became all the more scared. He thought now Esau is coming towards him to defeat him and to kill him. So he got so frightened, he divides his camp into two camps. Okay, and because he thought that if Esau is destroying, at least if he'll destroy one camp, he will be convinced with that, at least I can retain one camp. Okay, because he had so much of property and so much of livestock, sheep and goat and everything, and children of course, and small children, everything. So he thought he will divide it into two camps. So all this chapter really tells the fear that Jacob was having. Okay, then again next another strategy that he plans is he hires 3 servants, and then first servant he sends with lot of gifts. Okay, so he says that you first go, bow down before Esau and say that Jacob is coming at the back and I have come to give you the gifts. And after some time the second servant will go with lot of gifts, and the third servant will go with lot of gifts. So by the time Esau receives all these things, he will be pleased. So his anger will come down. So this is all the strategy that Jacob was using, all because of the fear, because of the sin that he had committed. He cheated his brother, even though years back. Okay, and then so this was the strategy, and he was doing that. And that particular night, when he was sleeping, when he was all alone, a man wrestled with him. Okay, and he knew that it was some God's messenger or something like that. So he didn't leave him. So he wrestled till dawn. And then since Jacob was not leaving him at all, that man, no, the person, the unknown person, struck him at Jacob's hip. Okay, and the man says, "Let me go." But Jacob says, "I will not let you go until you bless me," because Jacob knew that this is somebody from my God, or it may be God himself. So I am not going to leave him, because I have been praying all this while. That's the reason why maybe God has come to visit me and to teach me a lesson maybe. So Jacob was able to recognize that. So he said, "I will not leave you until you bless me. I need your blessing. With your blessing, I can conquer everything. I can conquer my fear." So this is one phrase that we all have to tell. "I will not leave you, Lord, until you bless me. I need your blessing." We have to command and demand the blessing from the Lord. And then the man says that you no longer will be called. He was so pleased because he was God himself. No longer will be called Jacob, but as Israel, because you have been with the divine throughout and you have not been leaving the divine. So since you were able to recognize the divine force, you will not be called as Jacob, but you will be called as Israel, which is going to become the greatest chosen generation of me. So this was a very important thing that happened in Jacob's life. So since he was able to encounter God, he named the place as Peniel means seeing God face to face. If you are able to see God face to face, it was called as Peniel. Okay, Jacob said, I was able to see God face to face, yet my life was spared. So he was so thankful and grateful about it. So with that great energy, he woke up and he started to move. And he didn't have much fear because to see Esau. And another thing is that from that time onwards, it seems Jacob was limping because he had a struck on the hip, So he was limping. And it is said till this day, Israelites do not eat the sciatic muscle on the hip socket, because that's the place where Jacob was hit. So till this day, so that is the remembrance of what happened. So this is all what is given in chapter 32. So we have completed 30, 31 and 32, a bit longer video, but we have completed these things, okay. So let's continue with the remaining chapters in the next session. Thank you. God bless.